Now we're going to deal with the next portion of the form. We'll go through the very last section now. So we ended with a palm strike across this way. Is that right? Nah, that's the other side, isn't it? No, that's right. Okay, we end here. Great. Left side forward. Here, here. Now, the move is we take a step back. This is just for footwork to have space to work the form. So when you're designing a form, forms have to be designed so that you can use them in a somewhat confined space. Okay, so the movement, I could have done this backwards, but I did it this way. Okay, so doesn't matter. That footwork's not important as much as the rest of the moves, but we're taking a step backwards away from this side. Okay, the actual move that we're practicing here is a back step into a back stance with a front hand palm strike. Okay, so we did this earlier with a kick. In the first form, we went forward with a kick and a palm strike. This time I'm stepping away, palm strike. Now, and I cross cover in front of the face. So hit and cover. Now, why are we doing this? I already said, if I move forward or if I twist, I create power. If I step away, I'm not. So, if I'm stepping away, I'm creating distance. If somebody's here and I step away from them, they just keep coming forward, or they potentially will, right? If I step away from them and stick something in the way, I created space. These are always set up. If somebody's getting too close to me and I just do this, I have decided to escalate the fight. Now, the idea is it's preemptive. They're already invading my space. They're already aggressive. Okay, so I'm deciding it's time to defend myself at this point. The first thing I'm doing is creating space. So that if they're staying this close to me and I try to hit them, I'm not going to be able to put a whole lot of power. And this might just stop the fight. Like if I step back and hit them in the chest instead of the face, right? That's the warning. Okay, it's like hey, and then we'll see what they get to decide what's going to happen next, or you can, right? This isn't legal advice. This is defensive advice. So this is how you create space. You step back with the palm strike. To the chest is fine. To the face, if you're ready to go. Okay? So I'm cross cover. Boom. Now, the reason I'm in back stance is because I can actually still propel that forward a little bit and push off that back leg to have a little more power. If I'm just creating space, I'm here, and I'm setting myself up to throw something with the backhand. But if I want to hit a little bit harder with this one, then I can push and hit. There is rotational force, but not a lot of it, because I am rotating this way, but I'm also rotating back in a way. So it's not really helping me a whole lot. If I want power, I need to use my foot to do it. Okay? So we step back in the form, it's this way, here, and then I'm hitting at the same time. Boom. Okay, and then we're just fighting stance. Okay? So, in the form, it actually moves this way. We hit, and then the next move is a side kick. Okay, so we probably don't have room, so this isn't a direct follow-up to that movement. Most likely, the direct follow-up would be something like this early in the form. Instead, we're going to work on striking at distances. So this is creating distance. Now I want to hit somebody who's at a distance. Although, like I said, this move is not creating enough distance to throw a side kick, but we're going to throw a side kick, so we need more side kick. So we step back here, we're throwing a side kick. When we do the side kick, we're going to pivot the same way we did on the roundhouse kick, but when the knee comes up, it doesn't rotate over necessarily here, but all the way here. So when I'm throwing a side kick, I don't like to go past the target with my foot if I'm rotating. Okay? If I picked up my front foot, I can just pick it up, basically bringing it from here to up towards my shoulder and then shooting it back out. That would be a front leg side kick. We're using a back leg side kick here. So from this position, I'm coming forward, pivoting on that foot. I want the toes backwards. And on this one and the roundhouse kick, I want the heel off the ground when I make contact. Unless I'm kicking low, then I can drop it. Okay? But I'm lifting this, turning this. If my target's here, the bottom of my foot points towards my target. If I'm here, I end up kicking with the front of my foot and the toes. there's no structural integrity behind that. It's going to be weak, it's going to be a push. I might even be pushing myself backwards, especially if my toes aren't backwards. So I'm coming so that my foot faces away from me, and then I'm shooting my heel out forward, okay? This is using the glutes, not the quads to do this, okay? Think of it not so much about bringing your foot forward as it is bringing your knee backwards. And it pushes your foot out. If your foot was like on a roller, on like a garage door thing, right? Think of your foot's in the roller, and then we push that to extend. It goes out and back in. So the move in the form is here, side kick, and then we land that into a fighting stance. Okay, just one more point to emphasize. Toes are backwards because if they're not, I push myself over when I hit something. So if I hit the wall over here and my foot is sideways, I will push over that. Okay, if I turn the foot, I'm less likely to do that, and because they're going to move instead of me. But if I do push myself back, I can hop to recover. If my foot's sideways, I'm just going to roll over the ankle and probably hit the ground. Okay, so we have one side kick. Now, we've created distance with that side kick for sure. So these are two moves creating distance. One, the other one is a side kick. Creates a lot of distance, although I have to have a certain amount of distance to throw it in the first place. But we throw the side kick. We're assuming now I've hit them. They're far away from me, but I still want to hit them, okay? So one of the things I can do is we can move forward to strike. So I'm here. We're landing fighting stance. We're going to move forward and back. So not what I would call a lunge step, a lunging step. It kind of is, but I'm going to go forward and backwards. So my front foot leads, one, but this foot follows. So I don't go way out here. This would be like a lunge. We're not doing that at this particular moment. Where this goes forward, this is pushing me forward, but it's not a jump. If I jump, there's no power. My power comes from forward movement. So the movement here is pushing myself onto that foot, and I'm going to push myself back. Because after I hit them, I'm moving back away. This is in and out, fighting at a distance. So I'm going to thrust myself forward, throw the palm strike, cross cover, and then I immediately push myself back. Okay, so I'm fighting somebody, they're over there, I need to hit them and back. I hit them, that gives me enough time to get myself back out. If I miss, they're going to hit me on the way out. So you do need to make some contact here, okay? Or just stay in and keep fighting. Because it is a little bit slower moving backwards than it is forward. If you've just been smacked in the head with a solid hit, then I buy myself enough time to do that. If I don't, then moving away is going to be a little bit too slow, and I'm going to end up having to defend. So the movement was 1, 2, and the last movement here is forward, hit, this covers, and back. And that ends the second floor.